Well, hi, Ashmi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Well, thanks for hopping on a call with me and just to chat a little bit more about your experience working with me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. It's been lovely, so I'm always happy to talk about it.
Yay! It's always lovely talking to you too, and I love all the revelations that come up. It's like, did you know you were gonna give me like 10 aha moments? I was like, no, but I appreciate that the feedback that that's what's happening. So yeah, well, why don't we first start off with, tell me a little bit more about yourself, who you are, what your business is, etc.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Ashmi Patel. So I'm a life coach for Millennial Folks of Color, and I've been working on the business for about 6 months now. It's been about four since I've officially launched, and I really like working with folks who, the way I like to describe it is, and I think a lot of people resonate with this feeling. It's like you wake up one day and you're just like, I didn't sign up for this life. Like I just followed all of the expectations and all of the shoulds that everyone else told me along the way I should do. And I don't want this life anymore. And that's a really scary thought to have. And to feel like you have to change that by yourself is also really scary. So as a coach, I love to help people get the life that they want and not have to do it alone. And yeah, I call it how to shed the shoulds. I really like that. And anybody who's kind of stuck in survival mode or burnout, and is looking for a life of choice, space, and ease, I'm like, come on over, let's do that. And yeah, I really enjoy it, and I'm glad that I made the jump to do it.
I love it. How to shed the shoulds. That's so good. You should trademark that. Okay, well, so what made you decide that, what, I'm going to start my business, I'm going to do my own private independent consulting or coaching practice, and I want to hire a coach to help me.
Yeah, so the decision to start my own business, I took a sabbatical last year, and when I came back, it was like time to transition back into work. And I was just like, just that feeling you get about, and I liked the job I was going back to. It was that the transition into that job was like a really good one, and I enjoyed the people I worked with and everything. But I just felt like there was something else that I needed to do. And it was like a gut feeling slash intuition that I was meant to do something on my own and follow my own ideas and all of that. I had also recently been diagnosed with ADHD, which just like changed everything about how I perceived how I show up in the world, especially at work. And I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to design my own schedule and my own life and help people in the way that feels really true to me. And so that because I wanted to do all those things, it just made sense to start a business. So I don't know if that's starting backwards or not, but I think for me, all of the things I wanted aligned with starting a business. And so I took the jump, and then I tried to do it by myself for a couple months.
Mm.
And I went to the internet and I was like, I got this. Like everything's on the internet. You just download a bunch of things. And I like quickly found that I was just spiraling in information. And you can find information on all ends of the spectrum on the internet. So like one day I would read something, and then the next day I would read the complete opposite.
Mm.
So, I always say coaches need coaches. And so I was just like, yeah, I think I need a business coach because I'm a really good coach, but I didn't know anything about building a business.
Mm.
And doing it as a solopreneur is a whole different game. And that's when I came searching for you because I was just like, I definitely need somebody who's done this and who can like guide me in the right way. But when I found you, it was special I because for me it was nice to find somebody that aligns with the values and would help me build the type of business that I would want to build. And so, yeah, so it was like a no-brainer to work with you.
Yay. How did you find me? I'm curious.
Um, you know, after working with you, it's really funny the way I found you. One of our mutual connections was had clicked attending on one of your events,
Hmm.
and it showed up on my page as like they're going to this event, and the event was something to do with this, like the event was something about BIPOC folks building their own business, and I was like, oh, who's this? And then I, looked you up and was like, oh yeah, this totally fits the bill for me.
Yeah. I'd love to hear even um well, first I want to shout out, yeah, you found one of my events because I'm a LinkedIn expert and that's what I train people how to emerge onto the internet, right? Or to put their personal brands out on LinkedIn and start their social media presence. So it worked, right? And I'm curious, what made you decide also to work with me? There are coaches out there, right? And I think it's really important for us to discern who we work with, especially you as a coach. Like right? Like you can get that vibe and such. What was some of those deciding factors for you?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm the type of person who does like a deep dive before I even talk to somebody on the internet, like on a call. So I like read through everything on your website and your link, and essentially anything that you had available online that I could look through, I did. And just through what you have on the internet, I like already really resonated with your story. And then the fact that you so openly like shared, like your first experience with racism as a child. I like read that story online and I was just like, oh, this is the type of, I was like searching or looking for validation to build something with the same kind of openness and vulnerability.
Mm.
Like I knew I wanted to do that, but when you're socialized by corporate America, essentially, I think people make you feel like you can't do that or you like can't build a business and just like show up as yourself. I always felt like I was like too casual or too bubbly or whatever. And then I saw your website and it's like super colorful and you're really open about your story and you focus on BIPOC entrepreneurs and all of that. I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to build. And this coach knows how to do it, specializes in it, and also just seems like I also just really like working with people I'm gonna like. And I was like, I could see myself being friends with her. Let's just give it a shot. So then I was like, okay, let's do a discovery call. And then we super vibed on our first call. I think we went over an hour or something. And I think for me, like once you talk to somebody, you just know. Like if you click, you know that it's gonna work. And I think after talking to you, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good relationship.
Yeah. Well, the feeling is mutual. And when I started my business, I was like, I just want to work with my friends. Like, is that such a tall order? I don't think it should be. And truly, Ashmi, I do consider you a friend, and I pour so much into all of you, all the clients, like all the cohort you're in, right? Because I really care about you making this work. And so I appreciate that, the vibe check. And yeah, I consider you my friend as well. um so tell me, what has been the three, you're in a couple programs with me, you did some one-on-ones with me, and then you did the first group program that I launched for BIPOC entrepreneurs. Tell me, what were three things, maybe your top three things or benefits that you've had from either the one-on-one coaching and or the group program.
Ooh. I would say, I mean, so the first one is just like no longer feeling like I'm doing this alone. Because I think the idea of like starting your own business, it's super exciting. And I've, even on the hardest days, I can say I've loved every second of it, which is such a great feeling. But it is so lonely when you're just like trying to figure something out and you're just like, oh, it's just me, myself, and I. And there's all this time to like spiral and for all of the imposter syndrome to come up. And so between you and the cohort like I always had somebody I could just like text or get a gut check or just like have a working session with. And so I think that has been super valuable to like not feel like I'm in this alone and to have a community of people that are not only like supportive, but have like turned into my people, like I talk to these people every day and I'm like really excited to see you every week and be like, oh, like this is what I did, or this is what I'm struggling with, or all of that. So that's been amazing. Um, the second one is just like my confidence in myself. Like 6 months ago, I obviously knew I could do this because I decided to do it, but I did not know that I would feel this confident in myself and like my ability to really build a business that I want. And I think the thing that's really indicative of that for me is like I'm able to say no to things that I wouldn't have before. Like even probably 3 months ago, I would have maybe felt the pressure to say yes to some things that have like recently popped up. And I think for me, I'm just like, oh, that doesn't align with the type of business I'm trying to build. And it's pretty crazy for me to say out loud because I think before I would come from like a scarcity mindset to be like, well, you're a new business, you just have to take everything that comes in. Mm-hmm. But I think after this experience, I've learned that knowing what you want and spending your time and energy on that and having confidence that you can get it if you work hard for it is super powerful. And also just feels really good for me to believe that I can have this dream. Right. And I tell my clients that every day. And the good thing about being a coach is you have to coach yourself. And so I'm like, I can't tell my clients that they can have the life they want if I'm not going through the life I want. And so, yeah, the self-confidence for sure. And then the third thing, I think the third thing is just like practical skills. Like I learned so much I did not know before I started working with you and the cohort, just from like, I was looking at my LinkedIn analytics yesterday, right? And I had 0 activity until I met you. And now it's like, I'm posting every day and I'm DMing people and having conversations and building my own community. And I didn't even know that you could be a creator on LinkedIn a few months ago. And then like down to like things about accounting for the business or just like all of this stuff that I think there is no blueprint to it and there's like a lot of information out there, but to be able to package it in a way that like works for me and makes me feel knowledgeable about my own business is huge. And I got all of those tools. And so, like on any given day, I know exactly what's happening in my own business, which sounds like a silly statement, but I don't think I realized how easy it is to build a business and not know what's happening. Right. And not know like what money is coming in and what money is going out, or just, I don't know, all of the logistical things that I didn't think about until I started working with somebody who was like, you should think about it. So yeah, those are my long answers. I probably put a bunch of sub things in all 3, but yeah.
Yeah. I love all of that, right? Because I really do think of my coaching style as both consulting when, we need to do very practical things and teaching you like how to do LinkedIn, how to look at your numbers. You should look at your numbers, right? But when you're resisting showing up on LinkedIn or you're resisting looking at that number, reaching out to people, well, that's the coaching side. That's the emotional intelligence coaching side that comes out and it's like, what's going on, right? And going and using that hat. So I appreciate the recognition of both those things that happen, and because I think they're important that they happen with a business coach. That's what I was struggling too when I was looking for somebody. I was like, they're either very practical or they're all like mindset. And I'm like, no, like you need to be able to do both. And it especially makes me happy to hear the third point of um I know what's happening in my business in every given day. And yeah, you're right. It is easy to run away with building something and not know. I kind of was there. And then had to backtrack and build all my spreadsheets for you so that you could not do that and have to backtrack and spend the time backtracking, right? And really my goal is I want you to be the CEO of your business. I really truly want you to understand because I say I'm one of your coaches. There's other specialists you're going to be hiring at some point. You know, I'd love to keep you forever, right? And there's other people who have a bit of specialty, and you need to understand when it's the right time to bring that person in. What do you need? How do you qualify that person? Do they know what they're doing? Do they fit what you need? Right, from technically and again from a values vibes standpoint, right? And that's really important for y'all to know when you leave me, or if you leave me, right? Well, you will eventually, like we all fly, right? But when you do that, you're not dependent on a coach, that you are an independent business owner. You are the CEO founder of your business, right? And being able to see that full picture and understand how to make very strategic moves and decisions is part of what I want to leave you with. And it's not just here, you got it, right? Good. Okay, ask me all your questions all the time, right? You can start to discern for yourself how to do these things. So
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So what are you most proud of, Ashmi? Like you've had some amazing accomplishments. What are the, top three things that you are most proud of in our time together? I know we're not finished yet, but so far even, like what has happened?
I think I think the most immediate thing that comes to mind, because it's August 31st and I'm one more post away from completing my 31 days on LinkedIn challenge. And I'm just like, I'm so immensely proud of myself for posting every single day, because there were definitely days where I was just like, y'all. And and obviously because you're my coach, but leading up to it, you and I had started talking about me posting on LinkedIn long before this challenge. And I was just so scared. Like I was so scared of it. And now to realize that I have done it every single day for 31 days. And like I think for me the reason I'm really proud of myself is not just like completing it, it's that I've like really put out some work and some posts that I'm really proud of. And I was super vulnerable with a lot of the things I shared. And that feels really good to be able to say that I did that, but also like very much increased my comfort level and confidence level with it. So very proud of myself for that. Um, I mean, the thing that's coming to mind is just like, just really proud of myself for doing the thing. Like it, I think a lot of us don't really take time to look back and say, what I did was really hard.
Hmm.
And I'm really proud of myself for sticking to it and having the courage to choose the hard thing. And I am really like, I'm proud of myself for choosing joy, even though it wasn't like an easy cookie cutter version of joy, but it was like my version of joy and the version that I had known I wanted for a really long time. And so I'm proud of myself for choosing that and for believing that I'm like valuable enough to make it happen. And as an introvert, I'm really proud of myself for like putting myself out there and like asking people for coffee dates and asking people for their time and like making new connections, but also making new friends. And I think like being able to show up as myself in all of these situations, like I think it's a really easy time to mask or put on like a version of yourself that you think needs to show up to be a CEO or a business owner or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm like too tired. And I would love to model for my clients what I'm telling them they're allowed to have. And yeah, so I'm proud of myself for doing that as well.
Yeah. I am very proud of you because I know the hesitation that you had um in putting yourself out there, in becoming public, right? And that's a lot of us, I think children of immigrants, BIPOC, right? Like, there's such resistance, when people are like, I got to go onto social media. Eventually you do, right? And maybe not, I don't teach you how to do it right away, but eventually you do. If you want to grow it and grow your business, and it's not so bad, right? And yeah, maybe getting the response and building your community that you were I remember you were asking for people. You're very relational, and it's like, where are the people? So I'm glad to hear that's all merging. And because we don't sometimes uh name all our accomplishments, one of them, did you think you were going to become a podcast host or like
Oh,
host?
no, that's
Did
true.
you?
No, I did not.
But it was on your vision board, you said, right? So
Yeah.
what else was on that vision board that has happened so far?
I mean, I think lots of things. Um, like the first thing that popped into my head was freedom. So like the freedom I have felt in being able to like set my own schedule, but like really prioritize how I want to be spending my time was always something that was on my vision board in lots of different ways, right? And I've just like had more time to spend with my people or more time for my hobbies or like honestly like it's so funny. Like one of the things I say is like, yeah, like I went to see the Barbie movie at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. And if someone took that clip, it sounds really silly. But to me, what that means is that I can do something that I want to do that like makes me feel great or makes me happy or whatever for a couple hours in a day and not feel guilty about it. And then like come home and do my business and rock it, right? And I think that part of my vision board, like the part that was just like the life that I want and being able to live it without the guilt. Because before I had a version of the life I wanted, but I was just like always feeling guilty about doing what I wanted because like children of immigrants, all of those things that we um, absorb. And so, yeah, like the guilt free living has been a huge thing from my vision board that has happened.
Yeah. Tell me about clients, anything around your dream clients and things like that.
Yeah, I got my like I remember when I got my first client after launching, it was through a referral of a friend and she's like this client is like my ideal client in so many ways. Like to the point that I was like, like when something's so ideal, you almost convince yourself that like, okay, I'm not going to get to that version, but if I can get little pieces of it, great. And then like in comes my first client and it's just like the exact thing that I really wanted to help people with that I just didn't think people would look to coaching for. And then here she comes and I'm just like I like truly with all of my clients I look forward to it weekly, but it's just really nice for it to be so fun, right? Like to be able to help somebody and have it feel good is the best. It's like the best kind of life I could hope for, right? And so it's also like a good data point for me to be like, I can find my ideal clients.
Yeah. Quickly and off the bat, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be such an experiment. I mean, I don't lie when I say I love the 17 people in this cohort so far, and like all my clients become my friends. It's y'all do a vibe check with me, and I'm doing one with you too. And I'm serious when I say like the sales calls are fun now because it's just like a conversation with a friend. I'm like, do you want to work together or not? Right. Like we like each other or not. That's it. Right. And and the work we do, maybe there's laughing, there's crying, there's all the things happening. But at the end of the day, yeah, helping people accomplish something that they've deeply wanted to accomplish or move past, right? And I'm so glad that that first client out the gate was someone ideal that you manifested, right? Like, this is who I want to work with. Like this is the person. You're one of my ideal clients, so that fits too. Because you do the work, like, you're open to trying the things, as hesitant and nervous as it is that you have shared with me, right? There's an openness to, okay, like, I'm going to do it. I hear you. I'm going to do it slightly my way here, but I'm going to try it, right? So that's what entrepreneurship is. It's like one big experiment. I say it's like we have to test things and try things, find the path, the journey, the processes that feel good to us, right? So I give you the menu of things, you choose, right? But you need to choose to do something. As the business owner now, it is you. Well, about to wrap up here, Ashmi, like a couple more things. What are you looking forward to most as you continue on?
Oh, that's a fun question. I think I'm looking forward to one, like getting those things from my vision board and making them reality. But also, like in our last session, we discovered that I'm like manifesting things without knowing that I am. Like I'm like manifesting things and blocking them at the same time. And the awareness of that is now like making me open to accepting them. And so I think for the future, I'm excited to see what else I've been manifesting all these years that I'm now ready to accept. And also just the feeling of like doing something for the first time that's really hard. And then just like that feeling of satisfaction you get afterwards of being like, oh, I tried my hardest for this and that felt really good, regardless of how many people show up, all that other stuff. Like just knowing that I did something by working really hard and something that I really believe in and I believe can help other people. I think like really settling into that feeling in that groove, I'm excited about.
I love that. And as an analyst, right, the data collection and the awareness, as an emotional intelligence coach, right, we think about, it's really about self-awareness. Like we have to know something is happening. And so I love that we did spend a little time on like, what is on that vision board? And are you further along than you think? And taking that pause, right? That intentional pause to say, like, what has happened? Oh my gosh, right? I'm doing the thing. Good job. Good job to myself. Right. And then what does that create? Right. What energy does that create now then for flow, for more things to come in? Um yeah. Well, Ashvi, I really believe that, the reason I decided to hone in on working with people of color specifically, specifically people who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, is because I didn't see enough of me out in the world when I was looking for myself. Like I was looking for a business coach, a BIPOC business coach who was heart-centered, right? Values alignment, equity focused, practical too, right? Like mindset, all the things. And I can count them on my hands, I think, how many I could find. And was like, there's not enough of me. And that's why I went into what I do. And all the clients, all the people I meet and work with now, also are often that first, the only, the other, in their family doing this, or in their social circles, running their own businesses. As I discover what your businesses are, I'm like, yo, like we're all pioneers here, because again, you probably can only name 5 people who look like you or who are, doing what you do, right? And so to me, it's that ripple of impact that can happen when we are all working in our zones of genius and we understand what our role in the social change ecosystem is. And we build it, right? And so when you're that first only other, when you're that pioneer, it can be tough. It's nice to find community of folks who, um, other racialized identities, other BIPOC folks who are doing something similar or just get it, right? And so I would love for you to share with folks, because I'm sure people are looking for you, right? And what is it that you'd want to leave people with who are looking to become a coach, who are looking for coaching, whether business coaching, coaching with you, more like life and like going after the things that you want, right? What's some wisdom that you can share with folks?
Oh, I think, yeah, like you said, we are pioneers, but because we've been in a system that just in so many ways was not designed for us. And honestly, it was designed to keep us down. If we're just going to be frank. And so we're not even used to calling ourselves pioneers. And we're not even used to acknowledging how much of an act of resistance it is for us to choose ourselves and to choose starting a business and helping other people who look like us have the life that they want. And so I think for me, the advice I would have is to lean into that resistance, because I think a lot of times, if you care about equity, social justice, the form of activism that feels like that a lot of us feel like we should be doing is like really loud, and I think that everyone has their place, like if you look at the social change wheel, everyone has their place. But like if you look at kind of what you want, and if you are a person of color or in a minoritized group, existing as you are is an act of resistance, and it is activism to some point. And going for what you deserve and helping other people do that is okay and much needed and enough. And you should just go for the life that you want, because you deserve it. No matter how many people have told us we don't, we do. And I always call my coaching business my little pocket of revolution, because I do believe that if people of color, especially women, are put together, we'll just freaking figure it out, because we're really smart and we're really scrappy, because we've made it this far. And so now we just have to take our joy and our rest back. And so I don't know if that was advice or a rant, but I really just think believing that you deserve it and that what you're doing is enough for whatever movement you believe in. I think that's a great place to start.
Amazing. Well, I know that you were doing me some sending me some love for sharing these words of wisdom and testimonial with me. And I know people are going to see this, so I'd love for you to share and promote yourself. How can people find you? How can people work with you? Right?
Yeah. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Ashmi Patel. You can find me on my website, ashmipatel.com. I do free discovery calls. I love to chat. So if you want to do a coffee chat or DM me, we can chat on there. Yeah, I might be an introvert, but super relational, and I really like meeting new people. So if you want to learn more about coaching, I would love to tell you about it. But also, if you're looking for someone to help you get that life that you want, my favorite thing to do is to help people just choose joy and choose themselves and be okay with that. So I don't know, if you have the inkling to do it, just shoot me a message and let's chat.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Ashmi. It's always such a pleasure to chat with you. I know at some point I'm gonna make it to Texas, and we're gonna have a conversation.
Yes.
We're gonna hang out in real life. We will. So thank you again, and just have a beautiful day.
Great, thanks.
Bye.